It is after 11 o'clock. We're going at a time. And this is a league, and this is a group of folks that we have been trying to track down for quite some time. And we now can say that we got Kelly Shouldice dropping in, VP of Brand and Content for the Northern Super League. Kelly, welcome to the Madness on the Morning Show. Thank you for dropping by.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
No worries. What part of the planet are you in actually right now? Are you Toronto side? Are you still in Winnipeg side? Or are you in Vancouver? Where are you right now?
I am not only Toronto side, I am in Toronto. So, the NSL, so the Northern Super League, our league, we don't have a league office. So everybody works remotely, and we have folks at the league office who live basically across the country, and that reflects the teams that we have across the country as well. So yeah, it's a pretty good setup. And although there's a bunch of us who are located in Toronto, and we'll hop into a shared office space just to kind of, get out of the house.
I'm right there with you. Although that when you're trying to get from Pearson to downtown on the QEW, and you end up with morning rush hour happening at 1:30 in the afternoon when you make that big sweeping left-hand turn and you're trying to get into downtown, I can understand why you'd want to work remotely at times.
Yeah, Toronto traffic is a nightmare. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, my only tip to the listeners is there's this new train that goes directly from Pearson to downtown. You avoid all the traffic, and that's definitely how I get around when I have to travel.
Yes, as it should be. And part of our mandate when it comes to this tournament that is coming up, I don't know if you've heard about it, but there's this world tournament that's happening that's coming up this spring and summer. Part of our mandate has been to talk to all of the folks in the markets with the host city committees and all this kind of stuff. And we've gotten a bit of an education for our listeners and our audience about TTC and handling traffic and all those kinds of things. So we definitely know about infrastructure and all the fun that's attached and everything that's going on. Reason we brought you on was not to talk about the Golden Horseshoe or anything having to do with Bill Barocco or the Maple Leafs not winning Stanley Cup for the longest time and the frustrations at quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts. I wanted to talk about the Northern Super League. And it was something that I thought was long overdue when it comes to the growth of women's soccer here in this hemisphere. What attracted you to the league to be a part of something from the ground up? Because, your history, you know what it's like to try to make sure that folks can cram into MTS and make sure that they know what's going on with our former Atlanta Thrashers. Trust me, there are some of us that still follow the Winnipeg Jets because they're attached to the Thrashers. You know what it means to the Blue Bombers to make sure that building is full. You come from that background in the CFL, and so you know everything that means something up there in Canada to fans. Why did you hop on to the Northern Super League?
Yeah, well, I have to say, my past career in sports with indeed with the CFL and with the Winnipeg Jets has really helped prep me for the role I'm in right now. I've been really fortunate. I actually am not really a sports person. My background is actually in broadcasting, and I used to be a freelance TV producer, and sort of landed in sports by accident, and have really loved it. But I'm still not your X's and O's person. So after my last two experiences in sports, I knew that if I wanted to stay in sports, that I really wanted to find an opportunity in women's sports. The rise obviously is very appealing to me. But the chance to take everything I've learned and bring it into something brand new was just a challenge I couldn't pass up. And, when I met Diana Matheson, our founder, and learned more about her, I knew who she was just basically from like Olympic storytelling, but learning a bit more about her and how she put together the plans for the league, I was like, I got to hop on this train. I got to be a part of it. And, I have seen so many powerful female athletes and worked so hard that I just thought I got to help out. I got to be a part of this. And it has proven, to be that little engine every single day when times are tough that keeps me going is to help getting women's sports out there. That's really what fuels me. And I watch our players on the pitch and I watch them at practice and I'm just like, yeah, this is all for them. It's all worth it.
6 markets to begin with in year number 1. AFC Toronto pretty much horizon jobbed everybody else, finished 12 points ahead of the rest of the pack. Ottawa, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax in year number 1. From your self-feedback, I guess, if you were to look in the mirror, what were some of the biggest lessons in year 1 of this league that you're going to take with you? Because year 2 schedule's already out. Everybody knows what their travel plans are going to be, and they know where they should be and going to places. What are some of the big lessons from year number 1 that you're going to carry with you and that the league is going to carry with itself heading into year 2?
Oh my gosh, we learned so much in season 1. As we were sort of, it's that analogy of fixing the car while you're driving it.
Mm-hmm.
I kept on saying throughout season 1, we are going to be so much smarter this time next year. So there's, a bunch of things that we learned that are just basically related to the operation of a sports league and how to be more efficient. But I think the biggest thing is that we really have an opportunity this season to develop more of a one-to-one relationship with our fans, and through various technology and other infrastructure that we're putting in place. We just launched a club and league services department, and to have more of a powerhouse behind our analytics is just going to help us reach fans and grow our fan base in just a more developed and specific way. So, we had some basic information about female sports fandom across Canada and obviously North America, but we really didn't have the chance to walk into a season with specifics about our own audience. So there's so much takeaway and so much that we're building to learn more about them, and that's really going to help us grow our audience. So there's a lot of takeaway there. I think for me on the sort of broadcast and content side, just so many more stories are coming to the forefront, and those are really going to power how we connect with our audience and drive that fandom that much further. There's so many players in our league who've, just have these incredible stories, and so that's a huge opportunity as well, is that storytelling, and we're really focused on big, bold, entertaining season, enhancing the broadcast. We're going to have 10 more matches on our linear broadcast this season. So we're really excited about that growth, and really just being able to make it more special, more entertaining, and really highlight this incredible talent on the field.
So you mentioned lessons. I asked about lessons you learned. What were the thoughts that were reinforced about going in? It's like, yeah, we think this, and then the season happens and we were right about this. Were there any of those things that in the process of year 1, you were like, yep, we nailed this. We need to build on it, obviously, but we had this pegged right as one of our ideas going into year 1?
Well, we knew that the fandom was there. We knew that there was genuinely people interested in women's soccer in the country. And I think, when we looked at our broadcast ratings in the first season, we obviously set really high targets. And the fact that we had so many matches that really reached those targets, and some, beyond. If I think about, across our whole regular season, we reached, over 3 million fans across the country. And just for our final, 1.1 million Canadians tuned into that final. And so, that number was bigger than I truly had anticipated. I had high hopes for the final because of everything we were doing to build it up, but was so excited to get that report the following day. And I would say, across the full season, we are on ESPN in the States on ESPN Plus, and we had some really great traction across ESPN Plus. So some of those viewership numbers, we thought we would do well, but we did better than we thought. So that's great. And of course, this means higher targets for the season. I would say that's one of the biggest takeaways from a club to club level. I would say they had some sense of ticket sales, and many of our clubs were really excited by not only memberships, but single tickets. Merch was flying off the shelves. So there's a few big wins on that side as well. Yeah. And I'd say maybe finally, I'd just say in terms of our following on social media, we, when you're starting from scratch, a brand new league, you really have to build up the social following. And so, across TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, we got some great growth there. And it's hard. It's hard when you're starting from scratch. It's hard when you're kicking things off and you don't have a highlight clip to use to tell people what this is going to be. So yeah, some big wins there.
And I know that digital and reaching out into the 21st century fan access has been big with you, dating back to your time in the CFL, where you wanted to have digital components and independent digital programming where folks would be driving themselves to whether it's web or YouTube or social media or what have you. It gives you that extra outlet to make sure that folks can get to, because not everyone is going to be sitting there in front of their OTT device, their big TV or the big 55, as I have off my left shoulder all the time. So having that flexibility and mobility to get the messaging across, that's been with you ever since the CFL, yeah?
Yeah, truly. Well, that's kind of what I say when I say I'm like not really a sports person, like an X and O's person. I've been so fortunate to have people I work with, like that's your expertise. You're the X and O's, and I'm going to come in to do the storytelling. What's going to grip people and bring people in who aren't hardcore X's and O's people. So that kind of mindset combined with just listen, I've done all of the jobs in content production. I've carried a lot of sandbags and hauled a lot of gear. And all of that has set me up to kind of, when I started in these sports roles, to build an in-house production company. And so not having to wait and rely on an agency to execute what we're doing. I know I can find the people, we can do it ourselves, and it can be really, really great. And to find, I've just really benefited from finding a lot of up and coming talent, up and coming content producers, shooter editors, people who are really great at storytelling, bringing them in, giving them a shot, giving them some guidance, and developing the in-house content production team. And so, last year with the NSL, it was a small but mighty team. It was probably a third of what I've had in some of my other roles. But we're adding more power this season to do more storytelling and have a bit more of a freelancer budget as well. So some of the folks who I've worked with in the past are coming into the fold, and we're really emphasizing storytelling. And we have a partnership with YouTube this season, and part of that is going to be some really focused streaming matches, but also we're going to get some great insights on how to grow on that platform. So with these talented people on my team, I'm just so excited for what they're going to come up with. In a couple of weeks' time, we have a big media day shoot. So that's on March 9th and 10th here in Toronto. And we invite all of the, about four top players from each of the clubs come in, and we spend 2 days just shooting content, getting really great marketing assets, and using this as a way to storytell about our clubs and about our players. So it's a busy couple of days, but what comes out on the other side is pretty amazing. So yeah, that's what's top of mind for me right now.
What was the coolest story that you didn't know that was introduced to you about NSL players from season one? What was the coolest one?
Well, I'd say, we take breaks during the international windows because many of the players in our league are also members of their either the Canadian national team or the national teams from their home countries. And Esther Okoronkwo, who is one of the players on AFC Toronto, she's from Nigeria, went back for international competition, and she was named the number one player out of the WAFCON, so Women's African Cup of Nations, top player of that. And I knew basic bio information about all our players before they started. I had not seen Esther play. She certainly started to emerge across the season as a top player, but to see her go back home and get that top honor for me was just an incredible story. So that's a big one. Our Golden Boot winner, DB Pridham, she plays for the Ottawa Rapid. She just like a powerhouse scorer, obviously, but through her time in our league, was able to get an opportunity to be called up to Team Canada as well and participate in an international window as well. And that's really what, part of this league is for, is to give some of the up and coming talent the chance to play, the chance to stay home in Canada, play here, develop, get more eyeballs on them from scouts, and go up to those national team opportunities for Team Canada, but also for their home countries as well.
Another couple of minutes here with Kelly Shouldice, VP Brand and Content for the NSL. And what are you the most looking forward to with season 2? So the schedule release is out. You've got all of your homework from season 1. You've got all of your notes, and I'll apply this question that I ask to new owners of franchises. Let me apply it to you here. I know somewhere in your office, the grand, 35-foot by 35-foot square office that has the long rectangular glass table that has 11 chairs around it where you get to hang on and have your meetings and do everything virtually. I know this office exists for you. I know it's there in the house. When you get everything squared away for season number 2, I know in that office of yours, you have that to-do list. You've got the to-do list for getting ready for season 2. I don't know if it is on, a legal pad like this. If you're old school like me, could be a legal pad, could be the ring-bound notebook like we had in, grade 6 and grade 7 that I still have all my guest stuff on, could be on a Google Doc, could be something, Teams thing, or it could be on one of those big white 6-foot by 8-foot long dry erase boards that has a bunch of squiggles and lines and different colors and everything about, what you've got to do. Where is that to-do list of yours? And what's the next thing you think you can cross off of that to-do list as you get ready for season 2?
John, the to-do list is in all the places you mentioned and about 45 Post-it notes around the fridge. So
there you go. That's it.
It's my goodness, it's so long, and there's, like, I think anybody who's really passionate about their job, they just they see all the things that could be better and be fixed. So it's a never-ending list, and I keep adding to it literally every minute of the day. I got to go back to, of course, there's all these things strategically that ladder up to the KPIs that we've set for the league for this season. But ultimately, the big overriding theme that we have been saying to ourselves since we launched is, we want to be one of the top 5 leagues in the world. On all fronts, and that means viewership, that means ticket sales. That's the big goal, and part of us, we're saying this season, well, maybe we need to be forget top 5, let's bring that up. Is it top 2? So that's always what's driving everything, is how do we do these little fixes to make the machine operate more smoothly so we can do more. But strategically is how is everything laddering up to these KPIs that then ladder up to being one of the top 5 leagues in the world. So there's so much. Maybe just I'd say, in one area of focus for me is broadcast. There was a lot we learned in the first season, and I think we can do even more. We sort of had to tier our broadcast budget, spent the most money on the most eyeballs for our linear matches, and had to pull back a little bit when it came to streaming only games. And that's basically how we were structured. We've got a bit more money to work with. So the chance to elevate every tier of broadcast that we offer, that's a big focus for me right now. And in that, we had some amazing talent on broadcast this season. We had a lot of folks who had experience with our national team to do analysis, a lot of really experienced broadcasters, part of our storytelling. This season, I want to grow our talent pool. I want to see who else who we can bring into the mix. So we're going to just have more people on broadcast to work with and grow that talent pool. So, that's a lot. I can't go into my list. There's too many points on the list. I'm sure my team is going to go insane when they hear that because they know here's the first 90 days, but that doesn't mean that it's not this same number of points for the next 90 days. Top 5. top 5. Maybe we'll change that to top 2, closer to kickoff at the end of April.
No, I'm right there with you. And I know that when you could bring in folks like the folks that we're familiar with, like an Ashley Docking and Amy Walsh, who's been a guest with us in the past.
Yeah.
You bring in heavyweights like Shireen Ahmed and Andy Petrillo, the new author Andy Petrillo, by the way.
Yeah, she's got a new book out. Yeah, gosh, I was just so excited. All the women you just mentioned, I was just so thrilled that we had these top tier broadcasters, reporters, analysts to work with this season. Like, we were just so fortunate, and everybody's coming back this season, plus more.
There you go. We love to hear it. Okay, so if you would please,
Yep.
cut the promo for us and let everybody know where they can see anything and everything going on with the NSL. They can learn about year 1, heading into year 2. Cut the promo for me. Let everybody know where they can see stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. So if you're in Canada, we haven't released our broadcast schedule yet. We will be releasing that in the next little while. We're just finishing up some of the scheduling pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to nsl.ca, you'll be able to check out our schedule, and you'll be able to find broadcast information shortly. Follow us on socials. It's Northern Super League, pretty easy to find. And through that, you'll definitely be able to find out not only consume our content, but find out how to tune in and to watch. In Canada, we're on CBC and TSN in our English broadcast, and Radio Canada and RDS for French. Mm-hmm. And in the US, we're on ESPN Plus. We kick off the weekend of April 24th. So that Friday night is our first match of the season. We're playing all the way through that other big sporting event that's happening in North America. Yeah. And then we wrap up at the end, mid-November.
And so you're 2 months out. You're about 2.5 months out from games, meaning stuff. I was glad that we were able to do this, because what we like to do here at the network, we believe one of our tenets is rising tide lifts all boats. And what we wanted to do was catch up with you up there with the NSL to educate everybody about the league and have everybody understand that you're not off over here off to the side. You're a part of the greater landscape, and we wanted to kind of keep an eye on what's going on up there, introduce everybody to the NSL as you're heading into year number 2, and understand that now that you are inside the tent, you're not leaving. So, we're going to be dialing back and catching back up and doing progress reports and everything, and especially as you get closer to the season. So thank you for putting up with all 9,000 of my emails and being able to talk about the Northern Super League here with us.
Jon, thanks so much for the opportunity. I'd love to come back with a camera that works. And yeah, I'd love to check in again as we're closer to kickoff or throughout the season. So I will happily get all of your emails, and I will try my very best to respond in a timely manner.
Choice D, all the above. So before the season, during the season, it's a date. Kelly, thanks for dropping by this morning. Go get some lunch.
Awesome. Thanks, Jon.